Okay, so you escort, is that correct?
I don't want to answer that.
That's a yes. Well, I mean, you've basically.
She's a sex worker.
Is escorting illegal? I have no
By
idea.
definition, it's legal in California, and you're not paying for an act, you're paying for time.
She's paying for, or he's paying for her time, not her sex.
Yeah.
But
and then whatever happens.
Yeah,
And
whatever
it's
happens.
really,
happens.
like,
Wink, wink.
They do
Okay.
have it. Wink,
Okay.
wink, wink, wink.
It's
Okay.
high end.
How much do you make?
What makes it high end versus low end escorting?
I think it's the dollar amount you're making per hour.
Or like
Okay.
who you're fucking with.
So
No, I
how
don't even
how
think
much?
that, because anybody
really?
can scrape up the money. You know, it doesn't matter who you are, whether you're the president or, you know.
How much is a
whatever.
low end escort and how much is a high end escort? What's the difference?
Like 100 to like 1,000 to 1,500 to 2,000
Per,
an
what
hour.
per hour? Wow.
Per hour.
Wow.
Yeah, 1,000 and up would be a high end.
Yeah.
Yeah, 1,000
And so you're a high end escort.
Yeah.
Okay. I gotcha. You admitted to it. You're an escort.
Oh. You know what?
You know what? Stay
no problem
safe.
with
Okay. I mean,
Someone said I got $5 final offer. Can we split the 5? Each of us gets $1.
I don't know. But
Amazing.
Yeah, I mean, just so for my personal thing, look, I know it actually does lose me women that I'm not willing to pay for first dates, but at the end of the day, I don't want to feel like a sucker. I've been there before. I don't want to do
something
it.
you're dealing with personally?
What do you mean?
Like, is this a
This
problem?
is something that pretty much
But
all
you have-
men are dealing with.
Let me ask you, how do you get out of this? Where do you go from this? You don't want to feel like a
Yeah.
sucker. I don't know if this happened in the past. What now? How do I get you married?
Well, so okay, we'll get to the marriage thing in a little
Okay.
bit because I know you wanted to talk about marriage. So I'm not necessarily opposed to falling into more of a like taking care of a girl. I certainly have the finances to do it down the road.
Okay.
But up front, no. You need to I need to get to know you before I'm prepared to do that.
Okay, but what is that? So you need to get to know her in a way where you're not spending money on her, because if you are, then you might get bit in the ass, or what?
It's really just a matter of principle to me. It's
I know-
not,
I
it's
know,
not
but-
about
I know,
the
but-
loss of money. It's
I know, and I actually get the principle. I respect that, but how do you, as a man, because you're a single guy in this crazy market right now, how do you move on? How do you navigate this? Do you go to the park and you hang out at the park?
Oh, like how do I do dates?
I
How
just
do you
thought
do
of such a
dates
good
and invest
point.
and also invest no money because you're scared that she might?
Sure. Okay. Oh,
What does that
I'll
look
put
like?
you on some game. What did
Okay,
you have to say?
So if you want so badly to be fair and not pay the girl's meal, doesn't that kind of make the girl have less respect for herself and less self-esteem to be willing to go half and half on a first date? So like, does that mean you're setting yourself up to be with less lower value girls because you refuse to appreciate their value from the beginning?
What do you mean appreciate their value?
Like pay for the dinner.
Why is that appreciating someone's value?
From a traditional standpoint. The man
From a
pays for
traditional
dinner.
standpoint,
Yeah.
but like women are not really traditional anymore. I mean, you mentioned men should be gentlemen. Where are the ladies?
We're right here.
But you just said you're an escort. I mean, like, you're not a lady.
Excuse me?
You're a female, but you're not a lady.
What makes me not a lady?
Well, I suppose I'm not a gentleman.
Because I got in a shitty situation at 18 and did what I had to do to survive and pay my bills.
That doesn't undo the fact that, look, you
that
are
doesn't
not
make
a
me
lady.
not a lady. I'm a survivor. I'm someone that's really strong. Like, I don't understand how I wouldn't be a lady.
Sure, you can be strong, but when I say lady, I'm sort of talking about traditional gender roles. So a gentleman versus a lady.
Yeah.
But traditionally, like,
A gentleman is someone who pays for your date, who protects you, who provides, who's a gentleman.
Do you think we don't deserve that
That's
because
just a
we're sex
man.
workers?
Hmm?
Do you think we don't deserve that because we're sex workers?
It's not a question of deserving and not deserving, but what I'm trying to point out is that as sex workers, you are not traditional women.
What I feel
If
like
you
you're
find that
saying-
offensive that I don't consider you traditional women, I'm sure you can admit yourself
well, you
you're
don't
not a
even
traditional
consider me
woman.
a lady. I just figure you think that I should go like be on the street corner
That's
or
not
something.
well. That's not what I said. But you're not.
What do we mean by lady? What's a lady?
Yeah.
Well,
What is a lady?
A lady would be the counterpoint of a gentleman.
Okay.
So basically, just adhering to
Traditionality.
decorum and traditional gender roles.
Okay. Okay, so then
So by virtue of being a sex worker, and this isn't me trying to attack sex workers, but you are not traditional. Ergo, you are not a lady.
Well, you're not a gentleman. You do a podcast.
That's
That's
fine.
not traditional.
Well, I don't think my specific.
Let me ask you this: what job ought a traditional man have, if not podcasting?
A business.
This
a
is-
businessman.
He's running a
This
business.
is his business.
He could provide for a woman and 5
CEO.
kids. He's a
C-
CEO
I-
of
Well, so
of
could I.
whatever
I could
Inc.
provide for kids too. And a
But
man.
but the metric. I mean, the profession of selling yourself.
Either way, a man's paying. What's the difference then if a man pays for an escort or pays for dinner?
Well, if a man is sleeping with
Traditionally.
escorts, he's not a gentleman.
Yeah, they end up paying somehow.
I
Yeah, they always
disagree.
do.
I think a man paying for dinner is looking for something more out of a woman other than just her sweet pussy.
Well,
I disagree.
As you
I
said.
disagree.
Actually, I disagree.
I disagree
Most
because
men are
here's why.
looking
Because
just for
here's why.
pussy.
Because a guy who is going to pay for a first date, he's trying to do everything to stack the cards in his favor in order for it to get to
It's
the finish
competitive.
line.
Yeah.
Yep.
He's
Well,
he's
you-
being competitive, so he's
But what's that finish line? Is it necessarily just having sex? I think genuinely most men want to get married, want to have kids, want to have a family.